Our story starts as we see a huge building, and it's late at night. A woman opens the door and steps in. But there is someone hiding in the dark room, clutching a knife in his hand, his silhouette barely visible. The woman turns on the lights as she enters the room. The sudden brightness reveals the man, but instead of a knife, he's holding a ladle and wearing an apron. With an awkward grin, he exclaims, "Surprise, honey. You've worked hard again today." His wife, wearing a short skirt and carrying a briefcase, steps into the room. Her face shows no emotion at all. She looks at him coldly and asks, "What were you doing with the lights off?" Hearing this, his smile falters and he looks crestfallen. "Oh, you weren't surprised? I was just playing a little prank," he says with an uneasy chuckle. Trying to change the subject, he adds, "Did the business trip go well?" "It must have been exhausting." She doesn't respond and starts walking toward the bedroom. From behind, he calls out, "You're tired, right? Go wash up quickly. I made all your favorite dishes." She pauses for a moment at the bedroom door. Without turning back, she asks, "Honey, did something happen? It's not even a special day." He forces a smile, but there's a flicker of nervousness in his eyes. "Do we really need a special reason for this? You've been so busy lately. We haven't shared a meal together for months. I thought maybe tonight we could just have a cozy dinner together." She gives him a cold, indifferent glance before entering her room. "Do whatever you want," she says flatly. "I got it," he murmurs as the door closes. The sound of the door locking feels like a nail in his chest. Slowly, he slides his hand into his pocket and pulls out a small bottle of poison. The dim light reflects off the glass as he stares at it, his expression growing dark. A shadow seems to envelop him as he whispers, "No, today is a special day. Today, I am going to kill my wife." 1 month ago, a cardboard box falls to the floor, its contents scattering. Among them, a book tumbles out, and from between its pages, a small bottle of liquid slips free. He picks it up, frowning at the label. "What's this?" he mutters. Curious, he searches for the name on his phone. The search results freeze his blood. VX, a poison used for assassinations? He looks at the small bottle in disbelief. Why does Hyun have something like this? What on earth was she planning to do with it? Memories start flooding back. A while ago, he woke up late at night, thirsty. As he walked to the kitchen for a glass of water, he heard her voice, hushed but urgent, on the phone. "Yes, he's asleep," she had whispered. "I'll take care of it." "Yes, everything is ready. Don't worry about my husband. There's a way." His face grows pale. Could it be that Hyun is planning to use this on me? He sits on the bed, trembling. "I knew my wife had changed at some point. It was as if she was hiding something. She started pushing me away, building a wall between us." He recalls her face, once warm with smiles, now cold and distant. The memory sends a chill down his spine. Back in the present day, the table is set. Everything is ready. He stands in the kitchen, staring at the poison bottle. His heart pounds as he grips it tightly. "The poison she was going to use on me? I'll use it on her first," he mutters to himself. As he tries to open the bottle, his hands tremble. Doubt creeps in. But is this really the right thing? No matter what, is it really right to do something like this? He grits his teeth, suppressing his emotions. Just as the cap begins to twist, a voice whispers from behind him, "Not yet." He jumps, spinning around in shock. There she stands, staring at him with an unreadable expression. When did you get here?" he stammers. "You didn't answer when I called," she says coldly. I'll be right there." "Just sit down," he replies, forcing a smile. She nods slightly and walks toward the dining table. He quickly hides the poison bottle behind his back, his mind racing. She starts eating the food he prepared, her gaze occasionally flicking toward him. "But honey, are you hiding something from me?" she asks suddenly. His throat tightens. "What? No, nothing. Why would I hide something from you, honey? It just seems like you've been acting strange lately," she says, her tone calm but probing. He forces another laugh. "No, really. It's nothing. I was just worried if the food would suit your taste." "If you say so." She picks up her glass of wine and takes a sip. In the first place, there shouldn't be any secrets between a husband and wife. Something in her voice snaps his restraint. You liar, he growls. She freezes, confused. What are you saying? I already know everything, he says, his voice trembling with anger. From the poison in your room to the phone calls you've had at dawn, I know it all. And yet, what? You're acting like there are no secrets between us. Her eyes widen in shock. What are you talking about? Why are you acting like this today? He slams the poison bottle onto the table. Her face pales. Are you still going to deny it? He demands. Honey, I can explain, she murmurs. Then tell me now. What exactly have you been hiding? Honestly, everything, he shouts, his voice breaking. She takes a deep breath, steadying herself. It seems like it's time to tell you the truth. His voice softens slightly. What truth? Tell me. For my entire life, I've never kept this secret from you. What I actually do, what kind of life I've been living, all of it. He stares at her, bewildered. What? What are you suddenly saying? It's true I've been hiding something from you, but it's not what you think. Absolutely not, she insists. Then what is it? He asks, desperation creeping into his voice. Honey, actually I am. Just as she begins to speak, the doorbell rings, cutting her off. He frowns. Who could it be at this hour? I'll go check, she says, standing up. As she walks toward the door, he looks at the poison bottle in his hand, guilt washing over him. In the end, I couldn't do it. What on earth, what was I about to do? She opens the door, and a loud gunshot rings out. The sound echoes through the room, paralyzing him with shock. His wife's body collapses to the floor, blood splattering onto the walls. For a moment, everything feels unreal. He stares at her lifeless form, unable to comprehend what just happened. The shooter steps into the room, his boots echoing ominously against the floor. He approaches Hyun's body without hesitation, firing another shot into her chest. The man stands frozen, watching in horror as the killer crouches down and removes her wedding ring with deliberate precision. The shooter finally straightens and turns to face him. He locks eyes with Shooter, his breath catching in his throat. His voice trembles. What is this? Lehman opens his eyes slowly, his vision blurred. The sound of voices echoes faintly in his ears. A torchlight shines in his face, causing him to squint. Can you hear me now? An officer asks, his voice sharp but not unkind. Another officer calls out from behind. Check if there's any shell casing around the area. Lehman's head throbs as he tries to make sense of his surroundings. He sees officers scattered around, meticulously investigating the room. One of them crouches near him and asks, Are you coming to your senses now? Lehman groans, clutching his injured head. Who are you? How did I? The officer interrupts. We're responding to reports of gunshots in the area. Please stay calm and cooperate with us. Lehman's gaze shifts to his hand, where the poison bottle was moments before. It's gone. His heart races as he thinks, I'm sure I was holding it. Suddenly, a chilling realization washes over him. Where is my wife? He demands, his voice trembling. Where is Hyun? The officer's expression tightens, and he gestures to the floor. Lehman follows his gaze, and there she is, his wife, lying lifeless on the cold floor as officers document her body. His chest tightens, and a wave of anguish overwhelms him. No, this can't be happening, he whispers, tears streaming down his face. In his desperation, he rushes toward her, but an officer steps in, holding him back. Sir, please calm down and sit. We need your cooperation. Another officer approaches, holding a family photograph. Sir, I know this is hard for you, but we need to ask some questions. Is this woman your wife, Lee Hyun? Lehman's voice cracks as he replies, Yes, she's my wife. She's my everything. The officer presses gently. Are you absolutely certain? Yes. Lehman screams, his sobs breaking the stillness of the room. She's my wife. And this is all my fault. He collapses to his knees, his grief consuming him. Nearby, another officer speaks quietly into a phone. Confirmed. Lee Hyun is deceased. The only witness is her husband. It seems we arrived too late. Lehman overhears the conversation, his heart sinking further. What are you saying? What do you mean too late? The officer continues on the phone, ignoring him. It looks like someone got to her before we did. Yes, we'll bring him in. Lehman's confusion turns to suspicion. Wait, you guys are police, right? Who are you? An officer steps forward, smirking as he reveals a stun gun. Who said we're police? Before Lehman can react, a blinding light illuminates his face. His ears ring, and his head spins as a new group of men steps into the room. One of them, a tall man with a lighter in hand, flips it open, the flame casting eerie shadows across his face. You must be Mr. Go Lehman, the man says with a smirk. Lee Hyun's husband, right? We need to talk. Lehman stares at him, his fear palpable. Who are you? What is this? Where am I? The man laughs, snapping the lighter shut. Where are my manners? I'm Koo Yankyul, director of Yahello Group. Lehman's eyes widen. Yahello Group? That's Hyun's company. But it's just a logistics firm. Yankyul's grin widens. Oh, that's what most people think. But let's not get into technicalities right now. He pauses, feigning sympathy. I'm really sorry about your wife. Truly. Her death was unexpected. She was a legend in our industry, you know. A legend? Lehman repeats, his voice shaking. What are you talking about? What do you want from me? Yankyul's tone darkens. Actually, we're in a bit of a predicament, Mr. Lehman. And we believe you can help us. Lehman trembles. Help? What kind of help? Yankyul plays with his lighter again, the flame reflecting ominously in his eyes. Tell me, who killed Hyun before we could? I don't know. Lehman cries. The person wore a mask. They didn't say a word before disappearing. Yankyul's face hardens. Wrong answer. He signals to one of his men, who punches Lehman in the face, sending him sprawling to the floor. Let's jog your memory, Yankyul says coldly, as another blow lands. Through the haze of pain, Lehman hears Yankyul mutter, "It's such a shame. I really wanted to meet her. The woman who betrayed our chairman, the woman who betrayed my father. She dared to go against Yahello Group. I wanted to kill her myself." Yankyul crouches beside Lehman, pulling a pistol from his coat and attaching a silencer. Since you're useless, it's time to send you off to join her. Don't take it personally, Mr. Lehman. This is just business. Lehman's pleas fall on deaf ears as the cold barrel of the pistol presses against his temple. Just as Yankyul is about to pull the trigger, an axe suddenly flies through the air, severing his hand. Yankyul screams in agony. One by one, Yankyul's underlings began to fall, taken down swiftly and silently by an unseen assailant. Panic spread among the remaining men as the chaos deepened. One of them, frustration evident in his voice, shouted, "What the hell is going on here?" Before he could process the situation, a sudden burst of action erupted, and 3 more of his comrades were taken down in quick succession. Fear gripped the group, and one of Yankyul's more loyal men stepped forward, placing himself between his boss and the unseen threat. "Boss, go down first." "I'll cover you," he barked, his voice steady despite the terror in his eyes. The underling gripped his weapon tightly, his eyes scanning the room for any sign of movement. Behind him, he thought he heard a faint sound, and he spun around sharply. But to his horror, there was nothing, only the lifeless bodies of his fallen comrades sprawled across the floor. Before he could act, a hand shot out from the shadows behind him, gripping his neck with a vice-like hold. He gasped, struggling, as a voice whispered menacingly in his ear. In the movie Blade Runner, there's an organ used to distinguish humans from replicants. "Tell me, what is it?" The underling froze, momentarily stunned by the bizarre question. A movie reference?" he stammered, his voice trembling. "You're a movie buff? What the hell are you doing here?" The voice chuckled softly, cold and menacing, as it leaned in closer to his ear. "Your time's up," the man growled, and with a swift motion, he plunged a blade into the underling's neck, silencing him instantly. The lifeless body crumpled to the floor. The figure emerged from the shadows, stepping over the bodies of Yankeel's men as he approached Lehman. His movements were calm and calculated, and his presence exuded a quiet but deadly confidence. He crouched down beside Lehman, who was still on the floor, frozen in fear and confusion. "Are you Go Lehman?" the man asked, his voice steady, but carrying an edge of urgency. "Hyun's husband?" Lehman's eyes widened. "Yes," he croaked, barely able to form the words. Who are you?" The man offered a small, almost reassuring smile. "She sent me to get you," he said. "From now on, I'll get you out of this mess." Lehman stood in shock as he processed the words that came from the mysterious man standing before him. "What did you just say? Boonskink.com? Hyun sent you? Who the hell is this guy?" he stammered, his voice thick with disbelief. The man remained calm and cold, his voice firm. "Can you move?" Lehman glanced at his legs and nodded. "Yes, he can." "Get up," the man ordered. "Move quickly." Lehman hesitated, his mind racing. "Wait a minute. Hyun sent you. What on earth does that mean?" The man's expression was unreadable. "Lee Hyun gave me a request. If I were to die, please keep yourself safe." Meanwhile, Mr. Yangchul, wounded and furious, reached for his underling group. "Young master, are you all right? Somebody get me some first aid now," one of them shouted. But Yangchul's anger flared. "There's an intruder upstairs. Go there and catch that bastard," he growled. One underling tried to protest. "I need to get you to the hospital first. Your condition right now is—" "No," Yangchul interrupted sharply. "Everyone, head upstairs and drag down the one who did this to my hand." The man turned to Lehman, his voice hard with authority. "Listen carefully, Go Lehman. From this moment on, just follow my orders. Don't think about anything. No questions, no hesitation, no doubt. Throw everything else away if you want to live." Lehman's heart pounded in his chest, but he forced himself to nod as he followed the man's lead. As they moved, one underling started to approach them from the stairs. The man stopped him cold, his eyes never leaving the approaching threat. "Follow me, because I will save you." The underling neared them, his voice sharp as he shouted. "There they are." "Lehman, cover your eyes," the man instructed. Before Lehman could react, the trap of stun grenades exploded, blinding both men. The sound of the explosion rang in his ears, his vision blurring as he staggered to keep up with the man. With swift precision, the man kicked the stunned underlings aside and pushed Lehman forward. They ran up the stairs, but more underlings appeared, blocking their path. One underling raised his gun, about to fire, but the man reacted in a flash. He shot the underling, then leaped over him, landing a devastating punch to another underling's face. With quick, controlled movements, he took cover behind the fallen enemy, using him as a shield to shoot the others. "Head to the rooftop," the man ordered Lehman. Lehman's mind was a whirlwind. How did it come to this, he thought. "Hyun, what about you? What were you hiding from me?" The man secured a door, locking it to slow their pursuers. Lehman was breathing heavily, his legs shaking. "My legs can't take this anymore. What are we going to do now?" The man's gaze was unflinching. "There is a door on the left side of the building."
Blacksidan 282 dravs 7891.
"Go down to that car." Lehman looked down at the ground below. "Go down where?" The man pointed, his voice cold and unwavering. "There." Lehman froze, his eyes wide. "What? Hey, you want me to jump? Are you out of your mind right now?" "Everyone is gathered inside the building," the man said, his tone grim. "If you want to survive, you'll have to make it to the car." Lehman's thoughts spiraled. "This is it. My last day of life. I can't do it," he thought desperately. "If I jump from here, I'll die. No matter how much I think about it, this isn't it." The sound of the door being broken down by underlings snapped him out of his thoughts. The man grabbed Lehman by the collar, his voice low and urgent. "I told you already, don't think about it." The underlings finally breached the door. With a sudden motion, the man threw Lehman from the building. Lehman screamed as he fell, his heart pounding in his chest. I'm going to die, he thought, his body plummeting toward the ground. But then, as he neared the earth, he noticed tents below. He crashed into them, but the ropes and the padding protected him. He could hardly believe it. I made it. I'm actually alive. His legs wobbled as he ran toward a nearby door, thinking, I almost died back there. But then, a sharp pain shot through his leg, a gunshot. He collapsed. Yangchul's furious voice rang out behind him. Where are you off to in such a hurry, Mr. Go Lehman? Lehman tried to get up, but Yangchul was already there, kicking him in the face. Could this be Hyun's doing? That bitch is still playing games even after she's dead. Lehman, disoriented, stared up at him. Wait! Why are you doing this to me? Yangchul's eyes burned with rage. Why am I doing this? Because she killed him. His voice trembled with anger. Lee Hyun killed my father. Lehman's mind raced. What are you saying? Yangchul sneered. So, you're just like her, following in her footsteps. As he prepared to strike the final blow, a crash sounded behind them. The mysterious man appeared, his voice cutting through the tension. In the John Wick movie, John Wick has a dog that was a gift from his wife. What is the name of the dog? Yangchul whipped around, aiming his gun, but the man was faster. He grabbed Yangchul's wrist, preventing the shot, and with a precise strike, injured Yangchul's hand, then followed up with a brutal blow to his chest. If you pull that out, you'll bleed to death, the man warned coldly. Yangchul, trembling in pain and fear, snarled, I'm going to kill them. I will definitely find you and kill you. As the man and Lehman fled in a car, the man handed Lehman a bottle and some cotton. Clean your wounds, he said. Lehman looked at the items, his confusion mounting. What the hell is this all about? Those people before, and you. What does this all have to do with Hyun? The man handed him a red file. Lehman opened it, his heart pounding as he flipped through the pages. What is this? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The man's eyes remained cold. There are things you need to know, Mr. Go Lehman. Your wife, Lee Hyun, is a killer. Lehman's face contorted in shock as he exclaimed, Hey, wait a minute. Hyun is a killer? What the hell is this? The man remained calm. You'll hear the details from the person you're about to meet soon. The car came to a halt, and the man stepped out, motioning for Lehman to follow. Despite the injury to his leg, Lehman, leaning on the man for support, hobbled along silently. They approached a building marked with a church insignia. At the gate, a guard turned to someone inside and announced, Sir, we have a guest. From within, a voice responded, Oh, Mr. Go Lehman? I'm so glad you arrived safely. Lehman, his mind still racing, asked sharply, Who are you? The man emerged, introducing himself with a polite nod. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kim Muyul, and I am the direct secretary to the chairman of Yahello Group. I've come to help both of you, at Ms. Hyun's request. Kim Muyul began tending to Lehman's injuries, stitching his wounds with practiced efficiency. Okay, that's all, he said, setting the tools aside. Turning to the man who had rescued Lehman, he continued, I was very surprised to hear from you. I heard that you already had a guard hired in advance, but I never expected it to be you. Kim's gaze shifted to Lehman. You must have been very surprised, especially regarding Hyun. His face and voice reflected sorrow. I really can't believe it. Of all things, it had to be this. Lehman, his voice trembling, asked, Excuse me, I heard everything on the way here. Is it really true that Hyun? Kim Muyul's expression grew somber. That's right, Mr. Go. You should know the truth now. Kim began to explain, his voice steady but heavy with significance. Yahello Group appears to be an ordinary company on the outside, but in reality, it is a contract-killing organization that dominates the assassination industry in South Korea. All the killers are under our control. We operate by receiving contract killings. Lehman sat in stunned silence, unable to muster a response. Kim continued, his tone darker. Our chairman aims to strengthen the company's position. He's gathered orphans and trained them to become killers of his own. Among them, there was one exceptional child. the legendary killer known as Red Queen, who brought the current Iliil into existence with overwhelming murder talent, is Ms. Hyun. Lehman's mind reeled. What does all this mean? Contract killing? Hyun was one of the legendary killers? So, what you were trying to tell me, then, was… Kim's voice softened. I'm really sorry that things have come to this. I never thought Ms. Lee would be in danger. I will help you escape abroad right now. Follow me. Lehman's shock turned to confusion. Hey, abroad? Kim's tone turned cold. The company will punish you for this incident. Since the company is currently in turmoil due to internal issues, now is the perfect time. Lehman hesitated, fear creeping into his voice. Okay, just wait a minute. Kim's eyes narrowed as he warned, you need to leave Korea quickly. Hurry. Before they could move, the man who had saved Lehman gripped Kim's arm, his voice firm. Explain. I heard them talking earlier. They say Lee Hyun killed the chairman. But the Red Queen I know is not the kind of person who would do that. Lee Hyun had thoroughly prepared for the situation where she might die in advance. That means she was involved in something that put her life at risk. He leaned closer, his voice demanding, tell me about it. What the hell was Lee Hyun doing? Kim's expression grew stern. You're right. Ms. Hyun didn't kill the chairman. In fact, she was secretly carrying out a mission. The person who ordered the mission was the chairman himself. Lehman's confusion deepened, leaving him at a loss for words. Kim continued, his tone urgent. 2 months ago, the chairman gave Ms. Hyun an order. He said there was a traitor within Iliil who wanted to kill him, and he wanted her to find that person, uncover their plan, and eliminate them. I don't know who the traitor is either. Only the chairman and Ms. Hyun knew about it in secret. As such, the mission was carried out in secrecy, and I heard there was not much time left for her to complete it. Kim's voice faltered momentarily as he clenched his fists. That's what happened. 18 hours ago, the chairman was found murdered. But all the traces at the scene were set up to make it look like Ms. Hyun did it. They intentionally framed her. Lehman's voice rose in disbelief. What? They framed her? Why is that? It must have been the traitors' doing, Kim explained grimly. They must have noticed the plan and eliminated Ms. Hyun and the chairman. I was going to hide because I thought it would be dangerous. But I'm here because Ms. Hyun earnestly asked me to protect you at all costs. Lehman's thoughts turned inward, flashes of doubt and guilt from his past consuming him. Hyun tried to protect me? She didn't mean to kill me? Kim stood and extended a hand. So please trust me and follow me. Lehman hesitated before shouting. Wait a minute. Then Hyun. What will happen to the person who killed Hyun? Kim's face turned blank. Now that's the thing, don't worry about it anymore. Everything you know about Ms. Hyun's past and her information was all fabricated by our company. So, from now on, you have no ties to this matter anymore, right? From his pocket, Kim retrieved a small package and handed it to Lehman. Here. These are the items Ms. Hyun entrusted to me. Inside were a teddy bear locket and a compass. All you can do right now is survive. Kim's voice dropped to a whisper. Forget everything about Ms. Hyun and live. Lehman stood, the items trembling in his hands, his emotions in turmoil. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a large building came into focus. Yangchul, left behind in a previous confrontation, sat on the floor nursing his injuries. A man in a black suit approached, his presence foreboding. Yangchul looked up, desperation in his voice. What? Why are you here? No, actually it's fine. Help me quickly. My hand is… Without a word, the black-suited man drew a gun and shot Yangchul in the head. He pulled out a phone, dialing a number. I've handled it as you instructed, he said calmly, before adding with an evil smile, let's proceed. Back at the church, Kim checked his phone and froze in panic. Oh, how can this be? We're in trouble. Just now, there's a bounty to kill Lehman. $1 billion. Kim turned to the others, his voice urgent. Killers will come here soon. Those who are aiming to kill you will come here. Lehman, his voice quaking, asked, Okay, wait a minute. A bounty? What the heck is going on now? Suddenly, The glass door shattered as a masked killer leaped into the room, swinging a massive hammer toward Lehman. The man reacted instantly, kicking Lehman out of harm's way. The killer, his masked face turning toward Lehman, sneered. "Thank you for the meal." Lehman stared at the masked killer in disbelief, his voice trembling as he muttered, "$1 billion dish?" The killer, undeterred, lunged at Lehman with another vicious blow. Before the attack could land, a man stepped in, his presence commanding and swift. With a steel nail in hand, he struck the killer's mask with precision, sending the assailant sprawling to the ground. Lehman staggered back, his life spared by a narrow margin. "Mr. Lee, quickly now." Kim Moo-yeol's urgent shout pierced the tense air, pulling Lehman back to the gravity of the situation. The man turned to the fallen killer, his voice calm but cutting as he asked, "Question. In Exorcist, a demon possesses a girl. What is the demon's name?" The killer's rage boiled over. "You bastard," he roared, swinging his hammer at the man with ferocity. "Do you want to die? Do you want to die?" Meanwhile, Kim Moo-yeol ran through the chaos, desperate to ensure Lehman's safety. His thoughts raced as he muttered, "Once a bounty is set, the entire network moves." They notify the killers of the target's location in real time. They even block all routes to go abroad. At this point, the only thing I can do is... A guard rushed toward Kim and Lehman, shouting, "Director, this way." But danger was never far. From a concealed position, a sniper girl took aim, her bullet striking Kim on the right side of his chest. "It's a sniper." "Director," the guard yelled, his voice laced with panic. The sniper's frustration was palpable as she shouted, "Get out of the way, old man." She fired relentlessly at Lehman, her shots barely missing their mark. The guard grabbed Kim, his voice shaking. "Director, are you okay?" Bloodied but resolute, the man emerged from the shadows, the killer's hammer gripped tightly in his hand, now dripping with blood. "Lehman, go ahead first," he commanded, his voice brooking no argument. From her vantage point, the sniper spotted the man standing boldly in the open. "Who's that?" she muttered, her sights locked on him. Without hesitation, the man hurled the hammer toward her position. It crashed through the window, striking her with brutal force and sending her crumpling inside. "The director is injured. Quickly, take him to the hospital," one guard shouted as he helped Kim into a car. Another guard turned to Lehman, urgency etched on his face. "Mr. Lee, come here, quickly." Before Lehman could move, another figure emerged, a girl wielding a katana, her presence as menacing as the blade in her hands. She leaped onto the car, her movements fluid and deadly. The guard froze, his voice faltering. "Who are you?" The girl answered with action, not words, slicing through the guards with brutal efficiency. Blood splattered as limbs were severed, and bodies crumpled to the ground. She turned her attention to Lehman, her katana poised to strike. But before she could deliver the fatal blow, the man intervened once more. He launched himself at her, his kick connecting with her face and sending her sprawling. She rose quickly, her breath heavy and her eyes blazing with fury. "You son of a bitch," she spat. "Why are you stopping me?" Chaos unfolded as the terrified driver, witnessing the carnage, started the car and sped away. "Wait!" Lehman shouted desperately as the vehicle disappeared into the distance. The katana-wielding girl sneered, her grip tightening on her blade. "It doesn't matter. I'll just cut down the both of you." With that, she lunged. In one swift motion, the man pulled a smoke grenade from his pocket and hurled it at her. It detonated with a hiss, filling the air with thick smoke. "A smoke bomb," she coughed, momentarily disoriented. When the smoke cleared, she found herself alone. "They disappeared," she muttered, her frustration simmering. Lehman and the man had fled, finding refuge in a dark, deserted street. Lehman's voice quivered as he asked, What should we do now?" The man's expression remained cold, his voice steady. "I never break a contract once I've made a promise. That's my principle. But now that there's a bounty on you, killers will hunt you down. Until you're dead, you'll never be able to return to your old life." Lehman's mind raced with fear and regret. Why is this happening to me? Is this punishment? Because I tried to kill Hyun? He recalled the items Kim had given him, left behind by his wife. Kim's words echoed in his memory. Here, these are the items Ms. Hyun entrusted to me. Right now, all you can do, Mr. Lee, is survive. The man's voice snapped him back to reality. For now, let's move. Follow me. As the man began walking, Lehman called out, desperation lacing his voice. Wait a minute. All of this, it's because of that guy, isn't it? There's a way for me to survive. He stepped closer, determination shining in his eyes. We need to find the guy who killed Hyun. The man turned, his face unreadable. What? Let's find him and reveal everything, Lehman insisted. Then everything will be solved. The man scoffed. What a ridiculous idea. Is this about revenge? Lehman clenched his fists tightly, guilt and anger coursing through him. I did something horrible to Hyun, a terrible thing, one I can never be forgiven for. His mind flashed to the masked man who had taken his wife's life. I can't just die like this. At least, not until I find the one who killed Hyun. He turned to the man, his voice trembling with emotion. Please help me catch that guy. The man's expression darkened, his voice icy. Don't misunderstand. I'm only following Hyun's request, not yours. I won't get involved in matters outside of the request. Absolutely not. Lehman's heart pounded in his chest. Such an overwhelming presence. My heart feels like it's about to burst. But his voice steadied as he spoke. You're saying it can't be done unless it's a request? Then I'll ask you for help too. He raised his voice, desperation breaking through. I'll sell all my possessions, no. Everything I have. The man seemed momentarily taken aback. I don't understand. Why would you go that far? Lehman placed a hand over his heart, his voice resolute. Well, that's because I'm her husband. The man's gaze hardened as memories of Hyun surfaced. His voice softened, almost curious. What's the last movie you want to see before you die? Lehman blinked, stunned by the odd question. Excuse me? A movie? I'll decide based on your answer, the man replied curtly. Lehman thought for a moment before giving his answer. The man nodded slowly. I see. Their conversation was abruptly interrupted as another figure stepped into view, a man with a knife and hammer, his clothes and weapons drenched in blood. A dead guard's body lay behind him. Found you, the killer growled. His gaze fixed on Lehman, his tone menacing. So you were here, go Lehman. I'll finish you off quietly. Lehman froze in terror. Another killer? The man turned toward the threat, his voice calm and deliberate. Lehman, I heard you clearly. It's not a bad movie. Taking out a steel nail, he added. All right, go Lehman. I'll accept your request. The air was thick with tension as the killer lunged toward the man, a knife gripped tightly in his right hand. His strike was swift, but the man was quicker, dodging the blow with precision. Undeterred, the killer swung his hammer, aiming to land a devastating hit. The man reacted instinctively, grabbing the killer by the neck and hurling him across the room. The killer rolled as he landed, using his hammer to stabilize himself as he rose back to his feet. In an instant, he launched himself at the man once more, his determination unwavering. Suddenly, the sound of gunfire shattered the air. The sniper girl had appeared, her face streaked with blood and fury blazing in her eyes. She unleashed a torrent of bullets in their direction. You fucking bastard, she screamed, her voice trembling with rage. Without hesitation, she fired again, her shout echoing through the chaos.
D.
The man, recognizing the danger, grabbed Lehman and hoisted him onto his shoulder. Together, they fled from the relentless gunfire. Not far away, the katana girl caught the commotion, the sound of gunshots slicing through the night. Gunshot? She muttered, her curiosity piqued as she changed direction to investigate. The sniper girl, now reloading her weapon, cursed under her breath. Damn it, she spat, her frustration mounting as she scanned her surroundings. Where is he hiding? I'm sure he couldn't have gone far. A faint metallic clink caught her attention. Whirling toward the sound, she opened fire without hesitation. "There you are," she shouted, her voice tinged with triumph. But as the smoke cleared, she realized she had only hit a discarded steel can. The man had set the distraction, buying himself precious time. From his hiding spot, he waited in silence, concealed in the shadows mere steps away from the sniper girl. When the moment was right, he emerged, grabbing her gun before she could react. She froze in shock, her anger momentarily replaced by fear. Before she could act, the man's focus shifted. From the corner of his eye, he saw the killer charging toward them, his hammer raised high. Reacting swiftly, the man fired at him, forcing the killer to dodge. In the chaos, the man sidestepped and maneuvered the sniper girl directly into the killer's path. Their heads collided with a sickening thud, sending both to the ground. Lehman, watching the scene unfold, stood frozen with fear. His thoughts spiraled. "This is bad. I need to hide, but my legs won't move." His panic was interrupted by the sudden appearance of the katana girl. She descended from above, her blade glinting in the faint light. "Found you," she hissed, her voice laced with malice as she struck with her katana. Lehman stumbled backward, narrowly avoiding the attack. The katana girl's eyes burned with fury as she pointed her weapon at him. A twisted smile spread across her face. "How dare you try to run away?" she sneered. "You think you can escape from this land spider?" With a battle cry, she lunged at him again.
D.
The man appeared just in time, intercepting her attack. With a powerful strike, he disarmed her, sending the katana clattering to the ground. Her arm recoiled in pain. Before he could catch his breath, the killer re-entered the fray, his knife aimed for the man's heart. But the man blocked the blade with his gun and, in a fluid motion, grabbed the katana girl and threw her into the killer. The impact sent both of them sprawling. The killer, unyielding, stood again. He glanced at his hammer and saw it was broken. Discarding the wooden remnants, he addressed the man with a smirk. "I think I know who you are," he said, his voice low and menacing. "I've heard the rumors. You're the one who asks movie names before killing your target. One of the top killers in the industry right now." Lehman's heart sank as the words echoed in his ears. The killer continued, his grin widening. "Movie fanatic," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. He pointed toward Lehman. "Hand him over to me." The man, now revealed as the infamous movie fanatic, remained calm. His voice was cold and deliberate. "You're talking too much," he said, gripping the katana firmly in his hand. With a flick of his wrist, he motioned for the killer to come closer.
Come.
"So that's how it is," the killer growled, his expression darkening. "If you want it that way." He charged with full force, his knife poised to strike. But the movie fanatic moved like a shadow, slicing through the killer's stomach in an instant. The killer stumbled back, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Did he just cut me? When did he?" he thought, staring at the wound. With a flourish, movie fanatic swung the katana, shaking the blood from its blade. His gaze locked onto the killer, daring him to make the next move. Blinded by rage, the killer lunged again. Their weapons clashed violently, sparks flying with each impact. The movie fanatic's skill was unmatched. He blocked every strike, countering with precise attacks that pushed the killer to the brink. With one final, devastating move, he disarmed the killer completely, breaking his knife. "This monster!" The killer gasped, his voice trembling with fear. In one swift motion, movie fanatic decapitated him. The killer's lifeless body crumpled to the ground. As silence fell, the katana girl stirred. Regaining consciousness, she saw the movie fanatic standing amidst the carnage, the katana in his hand drenched in blood. His gaze turned to her, cold and unyielding. Terrified, she scrambled to her feet. "I don't kill children," he said, tossing the katana aside.
Get lost.
She didn't hesitate, fleeing as fast as her legs could carry her. Lehman, still trembling, stared at the movie fanatic, unable to process what he had just witnessed. The man turned to him, his tone firm but calm. "From now on, I'll look for the real culprit who killed the chairman," he said. "If I find him, I'll deal with the organization and get your bounty cancelled. Do you have any more questions? Lehman stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. Excuse me, why did you accept my request? The movie fanatic sighed. I told you, he said simply. I like the movie, you answered. That's all. Turning, he began to walk away.
Follow me, he ordered.
We need to hurry and get out of here. Lehman clenched his fists, determination igniting within him. Yeah, this is enough. I will definitely find out. Who killed my wife? The room shifted into focus, revealing an emergency meeting convened by an organization. Seated around the table were 2 men and a woman, with 2 chairs conspicuously empty. The manager presided over the meeting, breaking the silence with grave news. All right, we will begin our emergency meeting now, he announced. As you have all been informed, young Master Yahello, the vice president, has passed away. The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head. 18 people served the young master, along with 2 freelance killers, all of whom were found dead at the scene. Displaying a photograph, he continued, the person we suspect most at this moment is Lehman, age 34. One man, wearing glasses and smoking a cigarette, sneered. Ku Yahello, that idiot, he muttered. He just had to screw things up, now of all times. Turning to the manager, he asked, So, who is this guy? The woman, scrutinizing the picture of Lehman, remarked, Did this guy really kill Yahello? He just looks like a normal civilian to me. Judging by the files, there's nothing outstanding about him. A blonde-haired man chimed in. There's one thing, he said. He's the husband of Lee Hyun, who killed and betrayed her own father. His revelation shocked the others. Lee Hyun? The woman exclaimed. Then is that bastard also? We don't know if he's a killer yet, the blonde-haired man interrupted. We'll need to investigate more to find out who he is and why he killed Yahello. The woman, tapping her finger on the table, spoke with frustration. I don't know where he came from, but he dared to touch our bloodline? Where the hell is he now? The manager attempted to cool the rising tension. We're still trying to locate his whereabouts, he said. We've also placed a bounty on him. We'll report to you immediately once we have a lead. The man with glasses interjected, Make sure no one knows about it. We'll handle this quietly, just like father would have. Then that will be, the manager began, only to be cut off. There's still something we need to address, the man with glasses said, extinguishing his cigarette. It would be better to bring it up now since we're all here. It's about who will follow in father's footsteps and become the chairman of Yahello. The room fell silent, the shock palpable. The woman's face lit up with a satisfied smile. We don't know how long we can keep father's death a secret, the man with glasses continued. And we couldn't even punish Lee Hyun, the mastermind behind it, because she's dead. This incident will make our clients lose trust in us. External forces and the board of directors will use this as an excuse to push us out. If we want to protect everything father built, we need to restore order, he added firmly. The woman's smile grew wider. What's there to discuss? One of us will take the title anyway. The important thing is who. The blonde-haired man's voice turned icy. Of course, it will be someone qualified for the title. Qualified? The woman retorted sharply. That sounds like you're talking about yourself, you opportunistic snake. The blonde-haired man smirked. It's a chance for you too, he said coldly. Since father never considered you a candidate. Anger flared in the woman's eyes. You bastard, she spat. Stop it, the man with glasses shouted, cutting off their argument. Nothing good will come from us fighting each other. We need to set things right. Until the official process, I, the eldest son, will act as the temporary chairman. Are there any objections? The woman slammed her hands on the table, rising to her feet. What? Who says you can do that? That's absolutely unacceptable. The blonde-haired man joined in. You're planning to use this chance to slowly become the chairman, aren't you? What's wrong with you two? The man with glasses shouted back. I'm asking you to help me protect our company. This is the time we need to come together as a family. Family, the woman sneered, her voice dripping with venom. We've all been trying to kill each other until now. We've only paused because of the funeral. Decide on a chairman?
Fine.
But all three of us have no intention of letting anyone else take that title. In the end, we'll still fight. So, what do you propose? The man with glasses asked. A suggestion, the woman said, pointing at Lehman's picture. Whoever kills this bastard first will become the chairman. What? The man with glasses exclaimed. It's simple, the woman said firmly. Lee Hyun's husband and the one who killed Yangchul, whoever deals with him first takes the title. It's fair and avoids arguments. The blonde-haired man's voice cut through the tension. Not bad, he said, observing the proposal with interest. A punishment for the one who betrayed Yahello. The one who gets revenge for our family becomes the next chairman. I'll participate. The eldest son remained silent, his face betraying his disapproval. He finally stood up, his expression full of frustration. The topic of the next chairman is on hold for now. Disperse. The woman frowned. He always causes a fuss when things don't go his way. By the way, why can't I reach Director Kim? What is he doing in a situation like this? The scene shifted to Kim Mu-yeol in a car, wounded and being driven to safety. Sir, are you all right? The driver asked. I'm fine, Kim replied. What about Lehman? I'm sorry, the driver said. I couldn't do anything in that situation. Kim's eyes widened. Turn around immediately, he ordered. Sir, calm down. It's too dangerous to go back now, the driver protested. Lehman is in danger. Kim shouted. Suddenly, a car appeared ahead, heading straight toward them. Meanwhile, in another room, a man's body lay lifeless in a bathtub. A girl, Iman, spoke into a wireless device. I just finished. I made it look like the target committed suicide, she said. Good work. Thank you as always, Iman, a voice replied. Iman grabbed her coat. I'll pack up and head back now. A new client wants to meet you right now, the voice informed her. Right now? Where? Iman asked. No need to go anywhere. They're coming to you.
Amon Stephened. What?
What are you? She turned toward the door as it opened. A man entered. It's been a while, Iman, he said, removing his glasses. Standing beside him was Lehman. Movie fanatic? Iman exclaimed, her gaze shifting to Lehman. And, Lehman? The man spoke calmly. We'll explain slowly. But it looks like you'll have to help us from now on. Iman's mind raced, trying to piece together what was happening. 8 hours earlier, Lehman and Movie Fanatic were driving together, the silence between them tense. Lehman glanced toward his companion and hesitated before asking, How should I address you? Should I just call you Movie Fanatic? Movie Fanatic responded with a cold, cutting tone. Is that really important right now? Lehman turned away, unsettled. His thoughts churned. He's terrifying. Do I really have to work with him? He stole another glance at the enigmatic man beside him and wondered, what was his connection to Hyun? Breaking the silence, Movie Fanatic spoke first. We need clues to catch him. Any idea where we could find some? Lehman hesitated, then offered. I'm not sure. Maybe we should check my house? There might be something there. Movie Fanatic immediately countered. Yahello probably has eyes on your place by now. Lehman frowned. What do we do now? Then, as if remembering something crucial, he produced a small teddy bear ring. I have this. It was one of Hyun's heirlooms. It looks like a key, but I don't know what it unlocks. Movie Fanatic studied it in silence, then finally said, I think I know where it goes. Lehman couldn't hide his surprise. How does he know? They soon arrived at a laundromat with a teddy bear logo above the entrance. Lehman stared in disbelief. A laundromat? Why here? Where is he going? Inside, an old man greeted them warmly. Welcome. What brings you here? Without a word, Movie Fanatic held up the teddy bear ring. The old man's cheerful demeanor shifted subtly as he chuckled. Oh no, the teddy bear seems to be in bad shape. His hand, however, discreetly pressed a red button beneath the counter. Moments later, armed men emerged from hidden corners, guns aimed squarely at Lehman and Movie Fanatic. The old man's voice was sharp now. Don't try anything funny. Tell me, why do you have one of my client's keys? Terrified, Lehman stammered. I received it. It's one of my wife's heirlooms. The old man raised an eyebrow. An heirloom? Lehman nodded frantically. Yes, I'm her husband. This key belonged to my wife. The old man's eyes widened. Her husband? Can I ask, what's her waist and foot size? Lehman, confused, answered. Huh? It's 150 and 270. The old man paused, muttering to himself. 150, 270. That's right. He nodded as if confirming something. One of my clients used to bring her husband's clothes from time to time. It was a while ago. He gestured toward a door. Follow me. Inside an elevator, the old man continued. There are people who would do anything to keep their secrets buried. This is their haven. Since you've received the key, you are officially my customer now. He handed the key to an attendant and instructed, Room 5. When the door to Room 5 opened, Lehman and movie fanatic froze in shock. What is this? Lehman asked, his voice trembling. Movie fanatic answered, it's a private warehouse operated in secret. Lee Hyun must have used this place. Lehman scanned the room, his eyes falling on a wall covered with photographs. These people. Movie fanatic interrupted, his tone sharp. Wait. That's the organizational chart of Yahello. Was she investigating them as part of her mission? We're in luck with this. We'll be able to catch him. Lehman's thoughts raced. There are clues about who killed Hyun in here? Suddenly, he pointed at one of the photos and exclaimed, this person. This guy right here. I know him. He's the military supplier's finance manager. Movie fanatic's gaze narrowed. Ki Byung-sik? You've met him before. Lehman hesitated, beads of sweat forming on his brow. The thing is, Hyun's memories flooded back, an argument over something he couldn't fully grasp. He finally managed. I saw him leaving Hyun's company. I don't know what their relationship was, but they seemed close. I see. Do you have any more information? Lehman pointed to the picture again. No, but if his pictures are hung up here, doesn't that mean he's involved? Let's investigate him first. Movie fanatic picked up a knife from the room. You have a point. All right, let's start with him. Then his tone turned grim. However, this is too dangerous for just the two of us. There might be a time when I won't be able to protect you. I know a killer who could help us, although he does have some flaws. Lehman's face lit up. Wow, that's perfect. It would be great if we had an extra hand. Later, as movie fanatic recounted this to Iman, she erupted. What do you mean, just? The chairman of Yahello was murdered. The Red Queen? And now false accusations. What nonsense are you spouting after appearing out of nowhere? Lehman, observing her anger, thought, she doesn't seem eager to help us out. I'm absolutely not helping you. Iman continued. Even if it's a favor, I don't want to get involved in this mess. But movie fanatic's icy tone cut through her resistance. You owe me. You haven't forgotten, right? Iman froze. What? The killer's rules, movie fanatic said firmly. You must repay the favor you've received. You can repay that favor right now. Reluctantly, Iman relented. All right, I'll do it. But you have to pay me 1 silver every 3 minutes. You have to promise that. And what's with all those weird clothes? Have you never seen a movie before? Their conversation was interrupted by a knock on the door. A voice called from outside. Sir, are you in there? Your package is here. Lehman frowned. Delivery? The voice grew more insistent. Could you please open the door? The sound of a hammer scraping against the floor echoed ominously. If you don't, then we'll have to break in. The sound of splintering wood echoed as the man from outside smashed through the door with his hammer. His helmet reflected the dim light as he stepped inside. Before he could react, movie fanatic lunged forward, driving a steel nail into the glass of the man's helmet. The glass shattered, and the nail plunged into his face. 2 men, standing just behind the first, quickly drew their guns and opened fire on movie fanatic, their voices ringing out in fury. You fucking bastard. Dodging the bullets, movie fanatic moved with precision. In a flash, he closed the gap between himself and the 2 men, delivering a swift kick to one's leg. The man crumpled to the ground, taking his partner down with him. Nearby, another man with a pistol, enraged by the chaos, rushed toward movie fanatic, intent on killing him. But before he could act, Iman intervened. She crept up behind him, looping a rope around his neck and pulling tight. Her focus shifted suddenly as she noticed someone else approaching from behind. "Stop! What the hell are you doing?" a voice shouted. Spinning around, Iman sprinted toward the newcomer and delivered a hard slap. The helmet flew off, revealing the face of a woman. Iman froze in disbelief. A woman?
She thought, shocked.
Amidst the confusion, Lehman spoke up, his voice shaky. What's going on? Why did that guy suddenly? Before he could finish, movie fanatic cut him off. "I told you something was off with the last guy," he said. "That guy has a serious condition. He shakes uncontrollably when he sees a woman, a fear of women." Lehman's face twisted into a mix of shock and bewilderment. Meanwhile, Iman hit the ground, having been struck by the woman. From behind a wall, the woman yelled to her partner, "Never mind him. Who the hell are those guys?" The man, still rubbing his neck where the rope had been, responded, "I don't know. There are 2 men over there. Report came in. Target spotted. Did they show up because they saw that?" Suddenly, the man with the helmet charged at movie fanatic, hammer raised, shouting, "Die!" Movie fanatic sidestepped smoothly, grabbing the man by the face and firing a shot into his stomach. The bullet hit the man's vest, which absorbed the impact. Gritting his teeth, the man with the helmet pushed back with renewed strength, slamming movie fanatic into the wall, the hammer pressing against his neck. The woman seized the moment, raising her gun to shoot Lehman. Movie fanatic, despite his precarious position, spotted her and fired a shot, hitting her hand. The pistol clattered to the ground. Lehman and the woman locked eyes, both noticing the fallen weapon. Lehman acted first, diving for the pistol and grabbing it. But the woman wasn't done. She drew a knife and lunged at him. Before the blade could land, movie fanatic intervened, grabbing her arm. With a swift motion, he slashed her chest, sending a spray of blood into the air. The woman staggered but retaliated with a hard kick to movie fanatic's leg, knocking him to the floor. Grabbing him by the collar, she screamed in rage, "What the hell are you doing? What are you doing, you fucker?" She raised her knife to deliver a fatal blow, but movie fanatic acted fast. He grabbed his own knife and drove it into her chest. With a powerful kick, he sent her flying backward. The force of the kick sent her crashing through a window. She plummeted from the building, her body landing with a sickening thud on the roof of a car below. Inside, Iman, Lehman, and movie fanatic jumped into their car and sped away. Iman groaned, clutching her head. My head. Of all times to get sick." Lehman glanced over at movie fanatic, concern evident on his face. "How did they know our location?" Movie fanatic didn't respond immediately. Instead, he took Lehman's hand and stabbed it with a sharp object, extracting a small tracking device. "This isn't something from Yahello. Who planted it?" he muttered, examining the device before tossing it out the window. His gaze turned serious. "Something feels strange." The scene shifted to a dimly lit room, where Kim lay on a mattress. His eyes fluttered open, confusion clouding his face. "Where am I? Where is it?" he murmured. A light poured in as the door creaked open. A figure entered, his face obscured by shadows. Kim sat up, his voice trembling.
"Who are you?"
"Hey, where exactly is this place? I was in a car accident, but the bullet..." The man in the dark spoke, his tone cold and commanding. "Don't betray your master." Kim blinked. "What?" "Just go where the gun is aimed," the man continued. "You and Lee Hyun were the loyal bullets of the former chairman. But now, that gun is aimed at me." Kim stared in stunned silence. The man leaned closer, his voice a low growl. "Tell me who else is involved in this matter." Kim's face twisted with fury. "It was you, the traitor, who killed the chairman. Go to hell, you piece of shit." A sinister smile spread across the man's face. "I was hoping you'd say that." He signaled his guards, who opened fire, riddling Kim with bullets until he lay lifeless. From behind, a woman entered the room, her voice calm. Congratulations. There's no more danger. The man shook his head.
No.
No matter how clean the cleanup is, a trace will always linger. The chairman's children will soon catch the scent. Let's speed up the project. What about Go Lehman? The woman asked. It seems they've removed the tracker. The man waved dismissively. Leave it. Let's see how far they get. A cold smile spread across his face. He seems like quite an interesting fellow.